Hey folks, my guest today is Vedran Sindrick. He likes to say he's a developer first. He started developing with PHP and MySQL when he was 18 years old, and since then learned everything he needed to become a full stack developer with HTML, CSS, and all the works. He also ran a development company for 10 years and then started building a service for himself to help with daily development issues. He turned that into a product called Treble and raised 1.2 million euros to build it out. Vedran, you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah, yeah. Hi, nice to meet you, and glad to be here. Thank you for the
Yes.
intro.
You bet. So that if people want to follow along, the URL is treble.com. What's the company do?
So we help you with APIs. What we like to say, we like to say that our company helps you stay in tune with your APIs. That's just a nice marketing word, but in an essence, we help you understand what's going on with your APIs and the apps that use them.
And so what does that mean? I mean, I think a lot of people, when they want to connect tools, they'll use things like Zapier, MuleSoft, these sorts of tools. Are you playing in that space?
So we're more developer focused, which means essentially you add one of our packages to your API, and out of the box we give you features like real time API monitoring, automatically generated documentation, error tracking, analytics, and a lot more. So that's how we tend to bring value. The services you mentioned are more geared towards no code solutions rather than actual developer created APIs.
So if my dev team at FounderPath relies on a bunch of API connections to keep the system running, we can install Treble and we'll get an instant notification the second an API has an issue.
Essentially, if you have an API, your developers and have multiple connections to it, like an app, a website, something, your developers probably today are having struggles with error tracking, monitoring, trying to figure out what went wrong, when it went wrong, how it went wrong. So we help you with all of those things.
And what would I pay you to do that? What's your average customer pay?
So right now we have a lot of because our early customers were actually the clients of our agency. Our kind of pricing tiers are skewed because they pay a really higher amount. But usually, I would say to get you started, you would pay anywhere between 50 to $100. But as your API becomes more popular, you would pay upwards to $1,000 because you have to understand the more your API is popular, the more data we need to handle and the more data we need to process. So
So that,
essentially, if you have
just
a company
sorry,
like Netflix,
just to be
that's
clear,
a lot of
this is for people that have an API that other people are using, not people using other people's APIs.
exactly. So if you have an API, essentially, and other people are using or you are internally using. So imagine, I don't know, like a game that you have on your phone, right? That's using APIs. So you can add Treble to that API and you'll have better understanding what's going on with either your app or multiple apps or your API.
Got it. And how many customers are you serving today?
So right now we've got around 200 customers.
And when did you launch?
Literally, officially, we didn't even launch, but we exist for, I would say, the past 6 months. We've kind of done, I would say, an open beta where we gave our internal clients the software and they just kept recommending it to other developers. Now we raised our first seed round and we're actually officially planning to launch in November this year.
How much did you raise in the seed?
We've raised $1.4 million.
Okay, great. 1.4 million. And did you do that on a convertible note or a priced round?
Price round.
Oh, really? That's different. Most people do a convertible note this early. Why'd you decide to?
Convertible note. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. And what cap did you use on the note?
So what do you mean by that?
Like, is it an uncapped note, meaning they put in 1.4 million at a cap, like a valuation essentially on the
Oh
note?
yeah, so they put 1.4 million and valued the company at 5 million
Pre-money or post?
pre-money.
Okay, got it. So 6.4 million
Yeah.
post.
Yep.
Okay, interesting. And how were you able to convince them to give you that valuation pre-product, like pre-customers this early?
So it wasn't actually, we, unlike a lot of other people, we didn't actually have that many problem raising the the round, like our story is a bit. We attended Web Summit last November, and a bunch of VC companies started reaching out to us. We didn't even kind of plan to do. We didn't even have a pitch deck at that time, so we kind of put together.
Everything was shut last year for COVID.
Yeah. So essentially, we put together a pitch deck and a business plan, and a bunch of European VC funds mostly reached out. We got around 3 term sheets, and we chose Nauta, our partner, because they had a combination of a great team and the best deal.
And who is we? How many founders are there?
So there's me and my co-founder, Darko.
And did you guys split equity 50-50?
No, I have a bit more. He has a bit less because I essentially built the entire platform, and he's mostly a designer and our operational officer.
I see. Okay, got it. That makes sense to me. So maybe something more like 60-40 plus your new investor.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and you mentioned an agency many times. Tell me more about the agency. Is that still running today, or did you shut it down?
So one of the kind of prerequisites to the deal was that we would shut down the agency. That is what we actually wanted. We had the agency for roughly about 10 years. We got it to a point where, we've done a lot of work for a lot of international clients, big name brands. And we kind of naturally always wanted to have a product on our own. And it just, I would say not stumbled upon it, but we kind of developed Treble because we need it personally. And we wanted to give Treble the 100% of focus. So that's why we kind of sunset the agency, transitioned all of our clients to either friendly agencies or somebody else. And we're now focused entirely on Treble.
And what year or how much did the agency do in its best year, revenue-wise?
A couple of million, and the best year was actually 2020. The COVID year was coincidentally the best year. I think everybody kind of went double down on everything web or app related.
So a couple million, you're talking like $3 million in 2020, something like that?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And how many folks worked at the agency?
There was it was always the core team of 4, and then we would have maybe like 3 people more depending on the amount of job we had.
And so what happened to the other 2 people? I mean, did you sell the agency off to them?
Oh, no. So all of them are now working with us in Treble.
Why only 2 of you guys have equity?
Because the 2 of us are only founders, right? The other employees have equity as ESOP, right? So we dedicated an ESOP fund for our employees and gave them ESOP shares.
How big of an equity sharing pool sort of did you set up?
8%.
Oh, 8%. Okay, got it. That's pretty generous. Okay, and so how many people are on the team full time today?
There's 4 of us now.
Oh, so 4
for now.
So the same 4 people from the agency.
We've literally just received the funds, I would say 20 days ago, and we've literally just started the path to hiring.
Vedran, a lot of people are going to listen to this and go, wait, this guy shut down a $3 million agency to go into a startup with no revenue? I don't believe him, or what am I missing? They're going to think you're crazy.
Well, again, we always wanted to do our own product, right? And in this day and age, it's really hard to find something that you're passionate about and nobody else is doing, right?
I get that. So why not sell the agency, or like why shut down $3 million worth of revenue?
We kind of we took care of our biggest clients. We found like I said, we found friendly replacements. We gave them to people who we know and trust, and that's it, because we wanted to literally fully dedicate to Treble.
And that's how you got your first customers, is you sold your old agency
Exactly.
clients to Treble?
So essentially, we built Treble together with them, I would say. At the early stages, they were using Treble. It just wasn't named like that. And then they gradually started using Treble. We gradually started making it better. And now every single one of them is still using Treble today. And they're recommending it to everybody, in their circles, if you will.
And Vedran, 200 customers you mentioned earlier are at a $50 ARPU, which you mentioned earlier. Multiplying those would mean you're doing about $10,000 a month right now in MRR. Is that accurate?
We're actually doing a bit less, but something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so more like 8,000 a month, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And where were you a year ago? Zero?
Something like that. We actually had, I think, around 6 months ago, we had around $2,000, give or take, and then as people started using the system, as we got recommended more, we gained more and more users. But again, we're just literally getting started with this whole story.
Mm-hmm. Well, when did you wrote the first line of code at the agency? It sounds like, which you launched back in 2011, almost 11 years ago. So you officially spun it out, I assume, when you got the funds and signed the term sheet. So you're calling
Exactly.
sort of early 2021, even though you had people using this in 2020 via the agency.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. The thing with this is because the way that we built it, it really required a lot of testing. One of the things that we do, of course, again, is we have access to every single request that is made on your API. So you can imagine if you have an API that has 10 million monthly requests, we need to be able to handle that much traffic, right? So one of the things that we needed to make sure that we could actually scale is the volume, scalability, and that we could do it at a cost, right? So that's what we kind of spent at least, I would say, 6 months testing, doing, developing, and perfecting. And once we were done with that, we got more confident about Treble and what it can do.
Great pricing plans for SaaS are usually a combination of like a flat fee for feature upgrades and then also utility-based upselling. The utility-based upselling you choose to use currently on your homepage is based off number of requests and a length of log retention. Why are those the right two utility metrics?
That's what we think at the moment that are right. You have to understand that, like you said, I am coming from a developer background, and one of the things that I hate is complicated pricing, right? If I see a product, and I've seen many products, the worst things that I could see is you want feature A, and that feature is only available in the highest plan. That's just gonna turn me off. So the thing that we wanted to do here is we wanted to give everybody all the features, and you only pay for essentially what you use. We think that is the fairest offer we can make. So nobody loses money, and you get both of words. Sorry.
Now, the counter to that will be a customer who signs up for you and then goes, they sign up on your $70 a month plan for 500,000 requests. A year from now, they're doing 10 million requests. So now they're paying you 500 or maybe more than that per month. And in their head, they start resenting you a little bit because they go, our API is growing, but it's not because of Vedran and like Treble only. There's a bunch of other stuff growing our number of requests. Why are we paying Treble so much more? How would you think about that problem?
I think if they grew that much, that Treble would be their best friend, because in that amount of time, we would have provided so much value and saved them so much money and time to them and their developer, just on everything from debugging to writing documentation, that they would be actually happy instead of sad.
All right, fair answer. What does churn look like today? Has anyone signed up and then canceled?
So far, no. So far, we haven't heard a bad word about it.
Well, so just to be clear, everyone who signed up and was paying for it, call it 6 months ago, is still actively paying today.
Yep.
Have you been able to measure expansion revenue yet? People moving from $70 to $500 a month?
We're trying to set that up, but we have seen a lot of cases where usually when expansion happens is like you mentioned, when somebody's API becomes popular. So usually what we see people do is they start with lower plans and then move to higher plans as their API scales. So while you're developing, you probably don't need the highest plan because your API is being used by a couple of people. But by the time you launch, and if you have a successful launch, your API is potentially used by thousands, if not millions.
Yeah, very good. And then what's it cost you? What's your CAC to get a new $50 a month customer? Do you know?
So roughly around 8% of that, 8 to 10% of that amount is our cost.
Of that annualized value or of the $50 a month?
Monthly value, yeah.
So you're paying $5 to get a new $50 a month customer?
Exactly, something like that.
Where are you spending that money?
Sorry, on services. Sorry. I thought, so we pay, that's the COGS value. We don't know exactly with our employees, but this off of $50 that we pay, we spend like maybe, like I said, 5 to 10% on other services that we have to pay. Everything else is, we haven't calculated in the amount we spend on our employees. And as far as marketing goes, we haven't done any marketing yet. So,
So
nothing to account.
Someone pays you $50 per month. You're spending $10 on COGS that you just need to make the thing run. And then you have employees and not spending anything on marketing yet. So still too early to tell.
Yeah.
Vedran, great story here. Let's wrap up with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite book?
The Steve Jobs biography.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
Let me just think. I do like the new Microsoft CEO, so I've been following him a lot.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building your business besides Trello? Trello. Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I try to get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
And what's your situation? Married, single, kids?
I'm about to be married in less than a year.
Oh, congratulations. And no kids?
So far, no kids, yeah. After we get married.
And how old are you, Vedran?
I am now 33.
33. Last question. What's something you wish you knew when you were 20?
That I don't know everything.
Guys, they launched an agency brand back in 2011, did $3 million in revenue on the agency last year, then shut it all down when they got a $1.4 million from an investor just 30 days ago at a $6.4 million post-money valuation for their tool, which helps you manage your API, make sure it's never going down, up to 500,000 requests. And you can scale nicely with the team. They're now doing about $10,000 a month, and we'll call it $8,000 to $10,000 a month in revenue from $2,000 a month just 6 months ago with their team of 4. Vedran, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thank you.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.